It's time to play the Hi Bob game. Simply watch the Bob...
Howard, I wanted to hear what that lady said.
As I was saying, simply watch the Bob Newhart show and count how many times people say Hi Bob.
Well, why don't we start things off?
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Wakey, wakey, eggs and bacon.
Sorry, try again.
Darn it.
Everybody loves the Hi Bob game.
This is the greatest game I've ever seen.
Weeknights at 10:30, 9:30 Central on MeTV.
Hello, I'm John Malos, and welcome to Connect with me here on Comcast, channel 187 and 43.6. A topic today that you are very familiar with. In light of what happened last night, we've got the latest developments with Sal Quintero talking about the privatizing of garbage. No vote last night. Your phone calls, 265-4331. Back in a minute.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
No doubt about it, 'tis the season for giving, that is. So before I get into the garbage issue and talk to Sal Quintero, and perhaps we're going to try to get Blong Xiong on the phone here to talk to him about his take on what happened last night. I want to talk about this Ventura TV promotion for the holidays. It's Christmas time and everybody's in a good mood. And so here is what we're doing on MeTV. I know you guys are regular watchers of this network, all these old programs that are so fantastic, so well produced, so well written. The actors are terrific. I know you guys watch these shows all the time. So here's what Ventura TV is going to do just to put you guys in the spirit. Okay, we've got this on-air promotion, and when you see it while you're watching MeTV, what you want to do is go online to Ventura TV, right? And then you enter the promo code. All right, now what that does is that puts your name in the hat for a drawing that's going to take place on Christmas Eve. And you know what you have a chance to win? A flat screen TV, a microwave, a Blu-ray player, and it also allows you to possibly get a gift certificate or a coupon worth $250 once you come into Ventura TV to make a purchase on your flat screen TV for your beautiful wife, for your girlfriend, or maybe that washer and dryer that you guys have been wanting to get. Who knows? So that's the promotion. I'll probably mention it one more time at the end of the show just to make sure that you've got it. Now to our topic of the day, and that is the privatizing of garbage. Let's go to the videotape and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Last night, the City Council was all set to vote on the issue of privatizing garbage. Of course, right now the city runs it. They have about 150 workers. They're all unionized, but they have 4 council members that are in favor of privatizing, 3 against. Well, here's what happened last night. Blong Xiong was not there. Oliver Baines had a death in the family, so he wasn't there. Sal Quintero was not at the council meeting. Neither was Larry Westerlin, and he is in favor of privatizing. He was in Mexico. Well, they still didn't vote. The mayor, Ashley Swearingen, held a news conference afterwards to say and tell us what happened. Live in our studio right now is Sal Quintero. Well, he's going to give us his take on why he wasn't there and what happened last night. And did he talk to the mayor? Did he talk to Blong Xiong? What happened last night? That's what I want to know. And are they going to take this vote? Is it going to go to the public? You should weigh in on this one. We've talked about it before, about 4 or 5 times on this show. The telephone number here is 265-4331. We're back with our show in just a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
And we're back. We're talking about garbage today, the privatizing of garbage, and the telephone number here is 265-4331. very unusual happenings at City Hall last night. I was kind of surprised as to what happened myself, and Sal Quintero is back to talk about what happened. So, Sal, no vote last night. Why?
Well, the council majority had the opportunity to vote last night. 3 of the council members were there on the dais. The fourth,
Which 3 were there?
It was council members Olivier, Borges, and Brand.
Yeah.
And Larry Westerland was in Mexico, but he was on conference call, and he would have been able to vote.
Why didn't they vote then?
I don't know. You'll have to ask them. It just sometimes you feel like having had the opportunity to move the vote forward, and that's exactly what they wanted. That was before they wanted it done. Sometimes on our side, maybe I felt like I was they were the bullies in the playground, trying to rub it in our faces or something to wait.
Right. Now, you weren't there. Can you explain why?
Yes. Well, simply because since this first started, we've never had really any input into the process. Anytime we've asked questions, they haven't been answered from the dais. What's the rush? What are going to be some of the effects? They just haven't been answered, and that's my thought was, we voted twice. It's been 4-3. They might as well pass it tonight.
So your absence was almost like a protest absence. Am I reading that correctly?
Well, it's maybe it was more an affirmation. I work for the people of District 5 in the city, and and the people that I've talked to, the phone calls I've received, the emails say, Sal, stand your ground. We don't want privatization.
Right. Now, the mayor didn't sound too happy that the 3 of you did not show up. Of course, Larry was in Mexico, some kind of a vacation or some kind of a cruise or whatnot. She thought it was your responsibility to show up and vote.
My responsibility is to the people that elected me, the people of District 5, and I was representing their wishes.
So you think you did the right thing?
Yes, absolutely.
What are the wishes of the people in your district from the people that you've talked to?
Well, not only through the district, throughout the district, John, but throughout the city.
What are they telling you out there?
They're telling us they don't want it. They don't want privatization. They're happy with the service the city services that they receive, and it's not costing the city anything. So why change over? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Let me play devil's advocate for just a moment. Where else is the city going to get the money? That's the question. There are very few options on the table right now. There's a $5 or $6 million budget gap right now. So the question is, from your opponents, they're saying, where else are we going to get this money? Because immediately, if that garbage situation, the sanitation, is privatized, the city picks up an immediate $2.5 million. And it doesn't fill the gap all the way, but it helps.
Well, you know what, John? The way I look at it, yes, it does help just for the short time, because it's a Band-Aid approach. Next year, we've already been told during budget, for next year's budget, we're going to have the same problem. So where are we going to get the money from? And some of the recommendations that had been made from the constituents and the audience, as well as Councilmember Baines, brought forward the fact, what if we create a new tax? What if we create a new tax that can cover that deficit, and it's ongoing?
Right. Let me put up on the screen the council members that are against privatizing right now, and there are 3 of them. It's, of course, our guest here today, Sal Quintero, Blong Xiong, Oliver Baines, who unfortunately, and our hearts and prayers go out to him and his family. There was a death in the family. That's why he was not there last night. And then, of course, the 4 that are in favor privatizing. You've got Andreas Borges, Larry Westerland, and Lee Brand, who I'm hearing maybe want to be the next mayor of Fresno after Ashley, of course, terms out. And Clint Olivier is the president of the council. Why do you think that they're against it? And I know what you're going to say, ask them, but what's your take on it?
Why are they against the?
Why are they in favor of privatizing?
Well, because they feel that the immediate impact is going to be with the monies that are going to be coming in terms of the franchise fees. But I think that's a short-term fix, but they're looking at it that way, that it's immediate money and helping balance this year's budget.
Right. Now, the city is responsible for our fiscal well-being. Previous administrations and councils have really put us in a hole with all those failed projects. You're talking about the stadium, we could talk about the Met, we could talk about Granite Park. But during the current administration with Ashley Swearingen, and you weren't there yet, they decided to re-sign all these FPOA contracts with the Fresno Police Officers Association. That's what really has put the city in the hole so far in this fashion. Is that right, Sal?
Well, the previous council are the ones that had approved the contracts with the FPOA.
Right.
Yes, the Fresno police officers.
And so would you agree that that's part of the problem right now?
That's what they're saying is part of the problem, is the contract itself that was negotiated. Yes.
Had that contract not been negotiated, where would we be at this point?
We would probably still be at a deficit, but not as large of a deficit.
But do you find something wrong with that the administration wants to, in 2007 or 2008 said, okay, we're gonna re-up on these contracts, and now they want to take it back. They want to renegotiate. I find something wrong with that.
Well, I do too. It's like in the old days you could do a deal.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. You could do a deal on a handshake and keep your word. Nowadays, of course, everything has to be done according to the letter, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and to me, it's taking going back on your word, and so how good is that?
Yeah. All right, we're talking with Sal Quintero here, and he is talking about the privatizing of garbage. We'll talk more about what happened last night, and we'll certainly take your phone calls at 265-4331 in just a moment.
You tell me who I am.
They called you West.
Jim West.
Mr. West.
West! Well, my name is James West.
A truly great man.
Brilliant.
Secret Service agent.
What's next? Come on, I'm waiting.
Man of action. He's James West.
Where's Jim West?
On the Wild Wild West. Weekdays at 4, 3 Central on MeTV.
This is Councilmember John.
Hi, how are you? We're back with more here on Connect with Me. We're talking about the privatizing of garbage. Sal Quintero is with us here, and I do believe Blong Xiong is on the phone. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Hey, good morning to you. Speak up just a little bit, Blong, so we can hear you. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. So you weren't at the council meeting last night. Why?
We were at the council meeting, the whole meeting. The only item that I missed was the privatization item.
Right. And why weren't you there for that potential vote?
Well, I mean, we fought for that item to be delayed, and for many different reasons, the complexity of the issue and so forth. And we didn't believe that we were going to have a sincere and frank discussion on it. And then the votes has always been as it was. So we didn't believe that being there was going to benefit or help our cause. And I think, at least for me, making sure that I wasn't there was going to at least put a statement in terms of why I think it's important not to privatize.
So by not being there, you were kind of like Sal. You wanted to make a statement, did you not?
That was part of one of the big issues, was to make a statement that this is not the right thing for us as a city to move forward. And we did not have the opportunity to have that discussion, not only in terms of the seriousness of the issue, but actually to the constituency of our residents, and I think the city of Fresno.
All right. Did you have a chance to talk to the mayor afterwards? Did she call you at all, or no?
No, I didn't have a chance to talk to the mayor. She did leave a message, but haven't had a chance to call back.
Okay. So what do you think about what's going on? Why are you against the privatizing of garbage in Fresno?
Well, I mean, we're going after a department that does a tremendous amount of work that is not only locally recognized statewide and nationally for its service and for what we do in recycling. And so to try to justify that the only purpose is really for money, decisions that we made in the past that puts us here, and to say that money is more important than people, then I have not been able to justify the reason to privatize.
All right, we're talking with Councilmember Blong Xiong. Sal Quintero is also here, that represents this district where Ventura TV sits here on Ventura Avenue. And, Sal can hear you here, Blong. So, but I want to ask you, your opponents, the ones that are in favor of privatizing, they're saying, look, the city's in a hole right now. We don't have any options. Where else are we going to get the money? and it will instantly give us about $2 to $2.5 million. Boom, right in the general fund right now.
Well, first of all, it doesn't solve for budget. I just want people to understand that. We still have a hole. And we've used this excuse for the last 7 budgets saying, well, if we do this, it's going to balance. If we do this, it's going to balance. And then we've also thrown public safety in there as well, that if we don't do this, public safety will be impacted. There's been no rush. We understand the challenges and the difficulty of where we are in terms of the budget. It has been justified to me. Why does this vote have to happen before the holidays, during the holiday, and it has to happen before the issue is out? There's the only thing that I can see, because you have 4 people that are already committed moving forward to this, and that's the only reason what we've done this year.
Well, it's not going to fill the budget gap all the way, but it will help out. That's what opponents are saying right now, or your opponents.
Well, it's not just the case, and there's been many council members, several, including myself, that has offered options, and those have been used in the past and currently that's going to be offered fairly soon here. So I think we're going to have to go back and hunker down and really look at the options that are available, talk to individuals, community, constituents, and let's see what we can really do in terms of finding the short-term solution here to Band-Aid at best, and then to destroy a department that is award-winning, that is efficient, that does what it's supposed to do, and that cares about its residents. It's not about a profit margin, and to destroy that department so that we can have $2.5 million in the general fund where it's not even identified to go to public safety, because that's part of it has been used. It's a little bit misleading.
You said you made you put some other options on the table. Can you explain to us what those other options would be? We went through a budget discussion. They said, well, a council member hasn't come up with any options. And I said, well, here are my options. And I said that, at that time we had some money money in overtime in terms of our police. I looked at addressing some of the helicopter issues. And I said, we should borrow as well. Well, 2 of those have been taken, and it looks like an option of borrowing is going to be coming forth. So to say that there hasn't been options or viable options that provided, I think at best is not telling the truth. Okay. Sal, do you have any questions for your colleague here, Blong Xiong? I don't know if you've talked to him yet today, but any questions or any comments?
No, but I think Blong has explained it very well, and I believe the 3 key points that for the making the statement that we did is that we have not been asked, whatever input we made has not been taken since day one.
You mean taken seriously?
Taken seriously, and secondly, it's a fact that we work for the people of our district, and then number 3 is what is the rush. Is that you have 2 new council members coming in, you have 2 that are leaving. The 2 new ones are going to have to live with the vote, with this particular vote. So why shouldn't they be a part of the discussion as well and have their input?
Blong, do you agree with that? Should they wait for a new council to come in, 2 new council members to come in after the first?
Of course, I especially with such a huge decision that the council member is going to have to live with and make. I think that's an important thing, that the new council members are coming in another meeting. That's truly important. But the other thing, and nobody has disagreed with this. This is a budget issue. This is a budget question. This should be in a budget debate. We're having that next year. We haven't even had our midterm budget discussion for this previous budget, which we had in several other midterm budget discussions. So this is a budget that should be vetted during budget time, given the opportunity for our constituents to listen, to hear why privatization is good or not good, and why this is, I believe, another wrong decision in terms of a series of wrong decisions the previous council has made, and we're contributing to it.
And that, excuse me, John, but that was also one of the motions that Councilmember Xiong and I brought forward during these discussions, was because, yes, it is a budget issue. Let us wait until the upcoming budget and make it part of our discussions.
Okay, now let me ask you, I know you're at a meeting and you took some time, very gracious of you to take some time, Blong, to break out of that meeting and call us here. There are 2 new council members coming in after the first. That would be Steve Brandow and Capriolo, right? So would that make a difference?
Well, it does. You have 2 new council members, whatever their position is. That I think campaign trail is still campaign trail, but with the campaign trail, you're successful. Now you can get the guys and govern. And when you're governing, people are there talking with you, providing different issues, different agendas, and so forth. So you may have a particular position when you start, but after you had all the information, you may be inclined to change. So
But-
I think that's why it's important.
I guess what I'm asking is, with those 2 new council members coming in, would that change the vote?
It could. It definitely could. I mean, with those 2 new council members in, you can see a shift in the majority.
Right.
And 3 of us did have district meetings. The other 4 chose not to, just regarding the privatization issue.
And we talked earlier, Blong, and then I'll let you go after this question. What is the straw that broke the camel's back? Is it re-upping on those contracts with the Fresno Police Officers Association?
Look, we've talked about all the bad decisions that previous council has made. Well, as I've said, we've contributed to that by looking at the extension of the FAA contract. We had an opportunity to sit down and have a frank conversation. Sal and Member Baines was not there when that decision was made, and I was the only opposing council member said, do not do this. This is not the best thing for the city. As we go through these tough times, we need to have opportunity and flexibility. And obviously I was defeated 6-1 with administration saying that this had to happen. So I think this compounded to where we are today.
Right. So now they want to take those contract backs, or at least renegotiate them at the very least. Blong Xiong, City Council member, I appreciate it very much you taking the time to call in today on Connect with Me. We'll talk to you soon.
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. So you have a good week and happy holidays to you and the entire staff.
Thank you. All right. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Blong Xiong calling in here, City Council member, and Sal Quintero is live in the studio here with us today. We're going to continue our conversation on the privatizing of garbage and much more. Your phone calls, 265-4331, are very important.
Is taking care of laundry taking too much of your time? Have you become a missing mom? With a new, fast, efficient washer and dryer from Ventura TV Video Appliance, you'll spend more of your day the way you want.
This Amana Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is now just $6.99, and this heavy-duty Maytag Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is only $8.99.
Don't spend your life on laundry. Upgrade today at Ventura TV Video Appliance and save.
Okay. Well, we're back, and we're talking with Sal Quintero. We got another phone call. Let's take it. Good morning. You're on. Whoops. Well, they were there. You can call back at 265-4331. Just a reminder, we had some problems yesterday. So if you do call in, please turn down the sound on your television, because we'll get feedback and then we'll have to take you off the air. Anyway, 265-4331. So do you think, Sal, that it would make a difference? Would it change the vote once the 2 new council members would come in?
I think it'll bring maybe some new ideas or thoughts into it. Like Councilmember Xiong, I haven't had the opportunity to speak to the 2 new ones yet in terms of what their position is.
All right, another call. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. How are you?
Yes, this is a question for Sal Quintero.
You'll have to turn it, speak up and turn that up a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay, this is for Sal Quintero.
Go ahead. He can hear you.
Sal Quintero, I used to work for the City of Fresno, and on the garbage, you know, they should look at it, the good side and the bad side of having private garbage. You know, it just.
Okay. Well.
There's, you know, there's 2 sides to it. You got to look at it and how it's going to affect other people too.
Well, I'm sure he is looking at both sides of it. I'm sure that the 3 council members are, and I'm sure the council is overall. You have looked at both sides of the issue, and the fact of the matter is, by privatizing, you've looked at that issue too. You've examined it, and you think it's a bad idea.
Yes, and that's also been part of the discussion of our district meetings, which gave us an even better overall look into that.
What are the disadvantages of privatizing?
The disadvantages of privatizing is that we don't have any control as a city to be able to, when a constituent calls and says, you know, my garbage was not picked up, we're able to call that department and then ensure that it gets picked up, cleaned up, and everything done in a timely manner for that constituent.
So you think that's a big disadvantage?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge.
Okay, another phone call. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. How are you?
Fine.
Go ahead. What's your question?
My question is for the councilman there. What makes the City of Fresno, the mayor, what makes him think that she's not going to raise, that the companies are not going to raise the rate on, you know, after they get in there?
Good question.
Well, it's already in the contract that your rates will go down for the first 2 years, and after that your rates will go up. In 2 years your rates will definitely go up, and that is in the contract already. So it's one of those, be prepared.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I've often asked is, okay, if you look at the stadium as a whole, okay, Chancey Park, Grizzly Stadium, a lot of people call it, how many times have they renegotiated their contract since 2001? How many times? Is it 2 times? Is it 3 times? Will the sanitation department, Mid-Valley Disposal, will they want to renegotiate after a few years?
That's very likely. They might want to do that.
So that's another disadvantage,
correct.
Perhaps.
To some degree, yes, because it's a private company and they've got an agreement with the city, and so all we can, what they're telling us, like I said, their rates are going to go up in 2 years.
Right. What are some of the other disadvantages that you've seen over the course of the last few weeks?
Well, part of the contract reads too is that we have these our garbage trucks that we've paid. We would have to sell all of our equipment, and some of those trucks we bought for $400,000, $200,000, and we're selling them for $60,000.
Wow!
And,
so it's
and
a
they're
loss.
only a couple years old. I mean, the depreciation, that's a huge depreciation.
So what you're
on
saying
equipment.
is the city will take some loss.
Not only that,
trucks.
if we get out of the garbage business by selling our equipment, it's going to be very difficult for us to get back in the business if this company doesn't perform.
All right. Now, if the vote, apparently, well, they've scheduled it for next week, next Thursday at 5 o'clock again. So let me ask you something. If this vote goes through and if they pass it, Marina Magdaleno, she's the head of the union, the Sanitation Workers Union, they could try to put this on the ballot as a special election. They would have to collect a certain number of signatures in a certain length of time. It'll be a short period. That will cost the city a lot of money. How much money would it cost the city to put on a special election?
I can't recall what the exact amount was, but I think it's probably in six numbers, 6 digits.
You're talking anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million.
Yes.
So that will put the city further in the hole.
Yes.
All right. You think that's a possibility?
Of them gathering the signatures, yes, because I'll tell you that it's not only the unions that are upset about this and are willing to help. You have quite a few of the church groups, the nonprofit organizations that have already said whatever you need us to do, we will do.
Does the entire council, are they aware of that?
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are.
That it could go to a vote?
Yes.
Okay. And so what are they saying about that?
There really hasn't been much discussion about it. They've said, okay, thank you for the input, we appreciate it, and move on to the next speaker. But it's something that is very real.
How many showed up at last night's meeting? Was it packed? Oh, you weren't there. That's right. I forgot. You weren't there. But the previous meeting, it was packed, and you had many speakers. Were most opposed to it?
Yes. There was the first 2 meetings that we had for the votes. The first one was completely packed. The second one was also very, very crowded, and I don't know about last night.
Yeah. We've only got about 1 minute left. Do you think that the city right now is in a panic stage? Is the mayor in a panic stage? Have you talked to the mayor?
No, I have not talked to the mayor. She did call last night and left me a message.
But you haven't talked to her. You haven't returned the call yet.
I haven't returned.
What are you going to tell her when you talk?
Well, we'll see what she has to say.
Right. Do you think the city is in a panic mode right now? Do you think her administration is?
I think they feel confident that their 4 votes will be there to get it passed, and they're comfortable with that. But I don't know that they're aware of what the unions and
what the consequences may be.
The other groups are going to do.
Should the city be more financially responsible from this point on?
Oh, absolutely, and we're doing that now. There's a lot. We're taking a closer look at any proposals that are brought forth, any contracts that are brought forth. Yes, absolutely.
Sal Quintero, sadly, we're out of time.
Okay.
I'm sorry Blong took all your time.
Oh, no, that's all right. That's all right. And I just want to wish Merry Christmas to you, your staff, and Ventura TV. They're the best.
Oh, listen, Merry Christmas to you, and Happy New Year, and good health to you and your family.
Thank you so much.
All right, Sal Quintero, the City Councilman, and we're going to talk more about the garbage, I'm sure, in future shows. You've been watching Connect with me. We're back on Monday. Hope you have a great weekend.